Good day, I'm Sophia, and I'm here to discuss to you what is inquiry letter all about. So in a professional setting, depending on your role, you may need to seek information from within your organization or from outside. So this information could be about the cost of a new machine you need to purchase for your office, or the pricing of a particular corporate tour package for your department's next quarterly outing. So knowing how to write a letter of inquiry is important in such situations. So in this discussion, I will explain what letter of inquiry is and how to write one, along with some tips and an example letter to guide you when you write yours. So what is inquiry letter? So a letter of inquiry is a short letter you can write to a professional connection to request some information you or your organization may need. So you can also write a letter of inquiry as a job seeker to send to prospective employers. So letter of inquiry are typically only a few pages long and cover the scope of your request in detail. So you must make sure that the letter of inquiry covers all important aspects of your request so that the recipient can send you a proper reply. So how to write a letter of inquiry? So here are steps you may follow to write a good letter of inquiry. First, start with an introduction. So the introduction of the letter of inquiry you write, it works as an executive summary of the letter. So the introduction should include your name, position and organization, and brief discussion of what you or your organization are requesting. Additionally, if applicable, you can mention how your request is relevant to the recipient's interests, which can make them more receptive to your request. For example, my name is Sheena Jane. I'm writing to you on behalf of Anand Private Limited. I'm the office manager of Anand Private Limited. I'm writing to you because we are currently looking to partner with a trustworthy corporate transportation services provider for our offices in Manila and Pasig City. Next is describe your organization. So following the introduction, the next paragraph of a letter of inquiry often includes a concise description of your organization. You can include some background information here. For example, Anand Private Limited is an IT company headquartered in Pasig City. We have offices in Manila, Pasig, and Quezon City. We provide custom software development services to our clients across the globe and currently employ more than 400 people across our 3 locations. Next is include a need statement. So here, write a need statement that explains the reason you or your organization has made the request. So it can be helpful to include concrete examples of the problem you want to solve. For example, your organization may have identified a need to offer better transportation options for the employees. So you could then mention how many people are there in total and what modes of transportation they usually prefer. So for example, our organization has been growing steadily over the last few years, and we have always tried to make sure the facilities we provide to our employees can be at par with the big players in our industry. In this direction, we are now planning to provide transportation services to our employees both through and from the office. Next is provide a solution. So after the need statement, write a paragraph that includes your solution, a clear description of how your organization plans to respond to the need you have identified. So describe your solution and the outcomes you expect to achieve. For example, we are planning to roll out the transportation services in our Manila and Pasig locations first. This would cover around 200 employees in Pasig and 100 employees in Manila. Next is list other providers you are approaching. So it can also be useful to include a brief list of other entities your organization has conducted for the required information. However, this depends on the kind of information being sought and the nature of your request. So for example, in the interest of keeping things transparent, I would also like to inform you that we are also in discussions with 2 more transportation service providers for our requirements. Next is conclude with a summary. So finally, close your letter of inquiry with a brief summary in which you can restate the main points of your letter. Additionally, be sure to thank the recipient for their consideration and include their contact information. So if you believe any additional attachments are required to explain your problem better, include them at the end of your letter. So for example, we would like to know if you would be interested in offering your service for this requirement that we have. If this interests you, we would request you to please reply with details about how can you help us and what sort of expenditure we would be looking at for the initial implementation. We are very excited to move forward on this project. If you have any questions, please contact me at the number that you have and the email that you have. So we thank you for your time and consideration. So, what is the format of a letter inquiry? So here is the format, example, or the format of a letter of inquiry you can use to write your own. So here is the examples that I have. So first is the recipient's name. Next is the job title. Next is name of the organization. Then the address. Then dear Mr. or Mrs. or Miss. Then the recipient's name. Then the introduction. The need statement. Proposed solution. The conclusion and summary. Then sincerely, and after that, name of the sender, the designation of the sender, and the name of the organization. So here is some tips. So how do you start a letter of inquiry? So for example, dear Mr. Sharma, I hope you're doing well. So here are a few tips for writing a great letter of inquiry. So first one is make sure you include all the important information. So the effectiveness of a letter of inquiry depends on how well you cover all important aspects of your request in the letter. So make sure you include all the important details that the recipient may require to give a proper response. Next is format the letter formally. So a letter of inquiry must be formatted like a formal document. It should include the sender's contact details at the beginning. It should also contain the date. And you should include a proper salutation at the start and your signature at the end of the letter. Next is make it concise and clear. So a letter of inquiry should be concise and clear, though it is imperative that your letter contains all the necessary details and information to explain to the recipient your request. But at the same time, it should only include the necessary details without including any unnecessary information. Next is include a proper subject line. So a letter of inquiry is a formal document, and it must contain a proper subject line. So the subject should precisely describe what the letter is about and must give the recipient an idea about the nature of your request. Next is make sure it's error-free. So your letter of inquiry should be professional and should not have any mistakes. You should read the letter multiple times to make sure it's error-free before you send it. The next is use the block format. So inquiry letter is in block format or block format. Why? Because block format is typically used for business letters. So in block format, the entire text is left aligned and single spaced. So the exception to the single spacing is a double space between paragraphs instead of indents for paragraphs. So here is a complete example of letter of inquiry. So, Raman Raj, Sales Manager, Yarrow Private Limited, 707 Ring Road, Pasig City. Dear Mr. Raj, my name is Sheena Jane. I'm writing to you on behalf of Anand Private Limited. I'm the Office Manager at Anand Private Limited. I am writing to you because we are currently looking to partner with a trustworthy corporate transportation services provider for our offices in Manila and Pasig City. Anand Private Limited is an IT company headquartered in Pasig City. We have offices in Manila, Pasig, and Quezon City. We provide custom software development services to our clients across the globe and currently employ more than 400 people across our 3 locations. Our organization has been growing steadily over the last 2 years, and we have always tried to make sure the facilities we provide to our employees can be at par with the big players in our industry. In this direction, we are now planning to provide transportation services to our employees both to and from the office. We understand Yarrow Private Limited is an organization that provides similar services to many organizations of our scale. We are planning to roll out the transportation services in our Manila and Pasig locations first. This would cover around 200 employees in Pasig and 100 employees in Manila. We would like to know if you would be interested in offering your services for this requirement that we have. If you were interested, I would request you to please reply with details about how you can help us and what sort of expenditure we would be looking at for the initial implementation. So we are very excited to move forward on this project. If you have any questions, please contact me in the number provided or the email provided. So we thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, Sheena Jane, Office Manager, Anand Private Limited. So that's all for the discussion of inquiry letter. Thank you for watching and listening to this video. Have a good day.
Hi everyone, so now I will discuss the claim or complaint letter. In wrongful cases, demanding for compensation or refund is pretty common. Legally doing it in the form of sending a letter is done by issuing a claim letter against the offender. The definition of claim letter or complaint letter. A claim letter is a message designed to inform its recipient about the writer's dissatisfaction with a product or services. The letters means due to a faulty product or the service from a company the sender had made a contract with is called a claim letter. For example, if a garments company outsources threads from a third manufacturing company for sewing of its garments, and after the product was sent, it is seen that the parts cannot be sewn together by the thread, it wears off as soon as sewing is started, the garments company can make a claim or complaint letter against the thread company. So other sources define that claim letter and adjustment letter is similar to each other, but they have difference between the two. The claim letter is written to bring this mistake to the notice of those who must own the responsibilities from them are called claim or complaint letter, while the adjustment letter, those written to take action on them, are known as adjustment letter. So we have 5 types of claim letter. The first one is claim letter for damaged goods. Here's the example, the goods arrived damaged letter. A letter that you send to the insurance company or shipper to request reimbursement for goods that were damaged during shipping, or a letter to request refund or replacement from the supplier. The second one is the insurance claim letter. When we're talking about insurance claim letter, is written to inform the insurance company about the incident, explaining how it happened, and also providing details about the situation. The insurance claim letter is used for claiming that our person is eligible for claim. Here's the example, the car accident demand letter. The third one is the warranty claim letter, the request for a warranty repair. Warranty claim letter, a claim for the repair or replacement of product manufactured by the business under an expired warranties, or for credits or price adjustment for such products as a result of their failure to perform in accordance with the warranties made in connection with their sale. The fourth one is claim provident letter. So claim provident letter, legal document that gives the executor the right to control the assets of a deceased person estate. If someone dies and leaves a will that names an executor, that person will have to obtain a letter of probate from the court stating that they are authorized to distribute the assets of the estate according to the will. Here's the example, the letter's testamentary will. The fifth one is claim objection letter. When we're talking about claim objection letter, a letter of objection can be written to the legal department of the concerned industry, stating the problem that might be arising. The letter can be written to a government body or used to communicate in between business or the same industry. So now let's move on to the components of a claim letter. A standard claim letter has the following elements or components in it. The first one, full information of the faulty product or this factory service. Explain clearly what went wrong. Detailed information, make sure the fault is worth checking. Also, it facilitates the checking procedure. In case of product, add details of its purchasing date, arrival date, quantity purchased, model numbers, size, color, the amount paid of for it, them, etc. necessary to pinpoint the order. Is it a defect or mistake? You need to be sure whether it was a faulty product or deviation in terms and condition of the contract regarding the product. Mention the amount of money you want to claim, or if it is the proper products that you wish to get as a refund as a result of the damage caused by the process of writing claim letter. You might want to follow these steps if you want to write a decent claim letter. The first one, add your name of the organization if any, and necessary contact details, add the date. Next, address the letter to the departmental head that ensure a quick and responsive behavior. Include his contact details too. In the subject line, mention the reference number of the order. After a proper salutation, indicate that you are making a claim and the type of it. If it is an insurance claim, include the policy number. In the next paragraph, include the details of the accident and the specific circumstances and occurrences that gave rise to the claim. Indicate the amount you are claiming and the date which you would require it. You can attach document to validate your claim. If such materials are not available, you can ask them if you will need to send them later. Note that they should be of context. asking for a quick help that you anticipate, and the letter and last sign with your type name. So, the claim letter is persuade letter sent by a customer to a business or agency to identify a problem with a product or services, and can also be referred to as a letter of complaint. That's all. Thank you for listening.
Good day everyone, I am Arian Flores along with Miss Andaya, and today we are going to discuss about the sales letter. Now, let us begin by defining what is sales letter. A sales letter is a written pitch to attract potential customers to a product or service. The goal of a sales letter is to show a customer of how your business will benefit them. So, in addition to that, a sales letter is exactly what it sounds like. It is a written pitch that is designed to attract new business to your product or service. So, it is a form of direct marketing that tells the potential customer who you are and how your company can benefit them. So, it also allows you to establish credibility and create a human connection, which is very vital for building a healthy customer base. So, now, let us know what are sales letter used for. So, sales letter are used to reach out to the customers with any information that could persuade them to make a purchase. So, you might write a sales letter to first, you can introduce yourself to a lead who spelled out a web form. So, you can also offer an existing customer a discount for their loyalty. And lastly, you can announce a new lines of products. But how do we make a sales letter? So, our potential customers need a reason to purchase. So, a sales letter gives them that reason, and it backs up with examples and information. So, that will help the reader to sell the idea of the product or services a business offers. So, here are the following parts of a sales letter that you should include to maximize your chances of making a sale. So, the first one is write a catchy headline that grabs your customers' attention. So, you should tell your potential customers what they need in only one sentence, wherein you should make it memorable. So, this may be the only thing that they see. Next is, you need to hook the reader by identifying what they need and why. So, addressing the unspoken needs of the sales prospect will connect them to your product. So, if you can explain why these products or business will benefit them, then your potential customer will pay more attention to your words. So, next is, include bullet points with key information. So, a bullet list will help readers to see information that you want to highlight. So, using this list to build your headline and hooks will be very helpful to your business or products that you are offering. Next, use testimonials or statistics. So, a sales letter should show the readers the value of your product. You can include testimonials and statistics in your bullet points so the reader who can scan this can quickly see the valuable information that will help your product to be patronized by the people. So, next, number 5 is that you should give readers a call like this. So, your readers need to be motivated in order to move beyond the page and do something to act on your offer. So, you should help them by presenting a clear and actionable step in your letter. So, the next one is that offer something to the customer that is limited in time or quantity. What we mean by this is that an effective sales technique needs to heighten the immediacy or to make the need feel greater for the potential customer by introducing a timeline for a deal. So, this technique is also used by limiting the number of items available for the offer. So, giving the customer or consumer a time frame to take action is more motivating in this type of sales pitch or sales pitch. So, the last one is use a postscript wherein you can do this in order to add a guarantee or personal address. So, using postscript is another way to connect with the customers and make your letter feel more personal. So, it's also another way to emphasize your offer in a scannable way. So, by saying all of that guideline, you should take note that writing sales letter is a way to directly reach the consumers. So, it requires certain elements that help convince a customer to invest in a product or service. So, this letter should be personal and informal in their tone in order to invite readers to discover more about the offer. And that's all, and it will be continued by Miss Andaya.
To continue the lesson of the sales letter, I'll be discussing on how can you make a sales letter more effective. Okay, so how can you make a sales letter more effective? So as you compose your sales letter, consider these ideas to improve your content. The first one is use informal language. Just be brief, clear sentences, and short paragraphs make you sound more human. And a natural tone will help customers connect to your message and take the focus off of selling. And also, keep the customer in mind. Write with a mindset of what you as a customer would like to hear. And make sure your words answer the question, what is it in it for me? Okay? Now, organize your content. Make sure your ideas flow from beginning to end. Your letter should have an introduction, body, and a conclusion. Because remember, organization is important. Okay? And also include exciting visuals. Graphic design is an important feature of your letter aside from the written content. So one should complement the other and keep design simple and relevant to current trends. Okay? Now, I have here an example of a sales letter. So let's see. As you can see here, there are headlines, which can be found at the upper part of the letter. And the headline usually is about the target person who qualifies for this kind of letter. So for the body, it follows right after the headline. Typically, it starts with Dear Reader, Dear Sir or Ma'am, Dear Customer, and so on. But here in the example, it uses the Dear Sir and the other one is Dear Mustang Supporter. So the sales argument is also present in the body. This component of the sales letter is where you should state the reader's problem and indicate that you have the solution. Then spend whatever amount of time is necessary to sufficiently prove that your reader that what you say is true. Then it is followed by the product introduction. This is where you finally introduce your product or service to your reader. And also continue your argument as to why it is the best choice for solving their problem. And you can talk with the biggest benefits for the reader once they grab that opportunity. And also in the body, you can state and explain your product's unique selling proposition. So what makes it stand out from others on the market. Now, for the closing part of this letter, your offer, this part of your letter is where you cement the buying decision in your reader's mind. Just repeat your biggest promise and benefits to them. Then reveal the price they're gonna pay and what they will get in after saying yes and purchase your offer. So just be clear with everything you say. You can give some bonus gift for the readers so they will be encouraged to take your offer. And also give them a guarantee that there is nothing to lose by trying your solution since there are so many options you can provide to them. Now for the sign off, so here be brief. Usually write a few parting words that seem friendly and genuinely. Like in this example, sincerely yours. Then followed by the printed name and the title of the letter's author as well as their signature. We can see here the signature because it is just a soft copy. Okay, now there are other types of sales letter, but we will only study the three other types of it. Okay, so first we have a sales introduction letter. So it's the first correspondence between a sales representative and their potential customers. So it's a bit more general in its approach. So typically very short, featuring only 1 to 2 paragraphs about your product, your company, and how to reach you for further information. A sales introduction letter is a formal statement prepared by a business to introduce and advertise a product to a client. So this is usually used by many companies in order to promote their goods and also improve the sales. So this kind of letter will help you to build a stronger relationship with your customers. So you can also inform them of the newly launched products just to persuade them to buy the goods listed in the letter and make sure that the clients will stay loyal to your brand. Next, we have here the sales recommendation letter. So the goal of this letter is to communicate a sales representative's strength and qualities. Remember that you're not selling a product or service, you're selling someone's value as a worker. So you still want to add some personal touches and tell a story. And also mention qualifications and talents and give examples of how the sales representative has used their skills to overcome a difficult situation. And also find some specifics about the company you are addressing so you can further personalize your approach. Okay? And lastly, the consulting sales letter. So in this sales letter, you are your own product. You're trying to convince companies that you'll be able to improve their sales skills and processes. So to do this, you'll need to establish a lot of credibility. So the more stories of success you can tell, the better. And while your unique selling proposition is still important, clients will likely be more interested in the hard numbers. So don't be afraid to rattle off the exact figures on how you've helped other businesses improve their sales. And also craft an approachable but authoritative tone so it will be more effective. Okay, so that's all for the sales letter.
Good day, everyone. So our topic is adjustment letter. The content would be the definition, how to write an adjustment letter, format, and sample of adjustment letter. First, let us define the adjustment letter. Adjustment letter is a letter written in response to the complaint of the customer is called an adjustment letter. It is written when the seller or delivery authorities write back to the customer in regard to their complaint. The official in format, it is used to explain what is the nature and urgency of customer's complaint and how it can be resolved by the company. The letter informs the customer whether his or her complaint has been accepted or been rejected. Also, the refund amount he or she is eligible for and how to obtain it. These letters deal with all kinds of complaints such as defective goods, services poor, shipment issues, and product undelivered or not delivered on time, and etc. These letters are known as adjustment letters because their main purpose is to resolve a conflict between customer and the seller. Next, how to write an adjustment letter. There are many points to be taken into consideration while writing an adjustment letter. First, it must be organized material. All the previous correspondence between client and seller, his complaint copy, company policies regarding the complaint featured, and other relevant documents, etc., should be first obtained and organized by the writer. Second, the admittance of mistake. If your company is at fault, immediately accept the mistake and proceed to rectify the mistake. The customer demands if rationale should be completed. And the third, positive reply. Sympathize with your client, listen to his or her woes, and maintain a positive tone and attitude towards the client to ensure the satisfaction of the customer. And fourth is diplomacy. When the client is not right and his demands are not justifiable, then the sellers need to be diplomatic so that even after refusal, your client remains satisfied. Explain the policy of the company and terms in layman language so that customer can easily understand your terms and conditions. Talk politely and don't refuse bluntly or rudely. And the fifth is politeness. Politeness as a virtue is encouraged by all the customer care services. Even when your client is at fault, you need to satisfy him while also maintaining your stance. In this respect, politeness comes in handy. A polite reply goes a long way in promoting the company's reputation and name. And next, we have the letterhead. Adjustment letters and claim letters should be officially endorsed by the company such that they should have letterhead on top. And the last is proofreading. Always proofread the letter to so save your company embarrassment in front of the client. Facts should be checked and correlated with the system properly. So next.
Next is how to format an adjustment letter. An adjustment letter is mostly written in a formal business letter format, and the real focus of the format is where to place the names, the dates, headers, and the body. Adjustment letter is a basic writing style, and I'll show you one of the formats of this letter. Next, of course, the header part. The header part consists of names, the name of the sender. The name of the sender simply means the name of the person who sent the letter. Next is the sender's address or the location of the person who sent the letter. Next is the date, including the month, the day, and the year. And next is the recipient's name or the name of the person who will receive the letter. And lastly, the recipient's address or the location of the person that will receive the letter. Next, please. Next is the body part. The body part consists of the subject or reference. It is the main point that is being discussed, described, or dealt with the letter. Next is the salutation, like for example, dear valued customer, or dear plus the name of the recipient. Next is the first paragraph. First paragraph, it should contain an acknowledgement of the compliant, an apology on behalf of the seller to the customer. In this part, you can also sympathize with the client for the inconvenience caused to the client. Next paragraph, or the second paragraph, it consists details of goods and services provided to the customer by the seller. Next, please. And lastly, for the body part, the third paragraph, or the final paragraph, it is the rectification of the compliant of the customer. Letter should be end with a complimentary clause or the First, the subscription, like for example, thank you and you're sincerely welcome. Next is the signature, of course, the full name and the enclosure or if there are any documents being attached, it must be specified too. Next, please. So I have here an example of adjustment letter. First is of course the header part, which consists of the name of the sender's address, the date, the recipient's name, and of course the recipient's address. Next. Next is the body part, which consists of reference. Like for example, in this letter, reference compliant date 15th of January 2018. Next is the salutation, dear Richard, and of course the first paragraph. It says here that this is the reference to your compliant date 15th of January 2018. We are very sorry that a broken bicycle had been delivered to your address. We take these things very sincerely and can sympathize with you for the inconvenience caused to you due to us. And next is the second paragraph, which contained of the details of the goods and the services. Like for example, in this letter, in the meantime, we would like to replace your bicycle with a brand new bicycle of the same brand with no shipping cost to you. Our delivery boy will come and collect the defective product and deliver the brand new bicycle. Also, we would like to give you a $100 gift card, which can be used in any store for the inconvenience caused to you due to us. We hope that you will continue shopping with us. And lastly, the third paragraph consists of the subscription or the thank you and yours sincerely, the name, and of course, the enclosure. The enclosure in this letter is the PFA or the $100 gift voucher. It can be used anywhere. So I guess that's all for our discussion to the adjustment letter. I hope that you learned something.